Life often challenges us with anxiety and haste. We want immediate results, quick changes, and instant answers. However, Buddhist teachings remind us that everything happens at the right time, neither sooner nor later. When we trust the natural timing of things, we cultivate patience and serenity. We learn that forcing processes only distances us from true inner peace. In this video, we'll explore 10 Buddhist teachings that highlight the importance of trusting the flow of life. Don't forget to like if you enjoy the content and subscribe for more videos like this. Let's begin. Teaching 1. Impermanence governs everything. Life is like a river that never stops. The water you touched a moment ago is not the same as what flows now. This is how impermanence works. Everything transforms, nothing remains fixed. Buddhism teaches that clinging to what changes is a source of suffering. Observing this flow with awareness brings peace because we understand that nothing escapes this law. Even the most intense emotions dissolve with time. Imagine a cloud in the sky. It appears, transforms, and disappears without resistance. We are the same, though we sometimes forget. Happy days don't last forever, but neither do difficult ones. When we accept this, we live with less fear and more freedom. Impermanence is not something to fear, but a reminder that every moment is unique. Appreciating it helps us release unnecessary anxieties. Think of the seasons. Winter's cold gives way to spring. Summer's heat turns into autumn. Nothing stays the same, and that is beautiful. If we resist change, we suffer. If we embrace it, we find harmony. Buddhism doesn't see impermanence as loss, but as an opportunity for renewal. Every breath, thought, and situation is a chance to begin anew. When we face pain, we believe it will never end, but just as rain stops, suffering also fades. The key is not to cling to what hurts or what brings joy, as both are fleeting. Cultivating this perspective frees us from impatience and despair. Life is not static, it is pure movement, a dance. Only by flowing with it do we discover its true richness. Even mountains, which seem eternal, erode over centuries. Why then are we surprised when our lives change? Impermanence is wise. It teaches humility and invites us to live fully here and now. Don't waste energy trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead, observe, learn, and let go. That is the path to true serenity. Teaching 2. Desiring control. Over time is suffering. Imagine holding water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. This is how the desire to control time works. We want things to happen quickly on our schedule, but life has its own rhythm. Buddhism reminds us that resisting this natural flow only brings anxiety. Peace comes when we stop pushing the river and learn to swim with the current. A farmer doesn't pull his plants to make them grow faster. He knows the sun, rain, and soil work together silently. We, however, often wrestle with time as if we could dominate it. But the clock is not an enemy. It's a mirror showing our impatience. What if, like the farmer, we trusted the invisible processes? Children don't ask, "When will I learn to walk?" They simply do it. They fall, get up, and one day they run. Adults forget this wisdom, tormenting themselves with deadlines and instant results, as if life's value lay in arriving first. The universe is in no hurry. Stars don't compete to shine faster. Flowers don't struggle to bloom prematurely. Only humans believe time must be conquered. Buddhism teaches that this struggle is unnecessary. When we let go of the mental stopwatch, we discover that what truly matters is already here, in this moment, just as it is. Think of the times you said, "I'll be happy when I get that job, find a partner, or achieve that goal." This turns the present into a mere stepping stone to the future. But life is not a race. It's a journey where each step has its beauty. True happiness isn't at the end of the path. It's in walking it without the heavy backpack of urgency. A cup of tea is best enjoyed when we're not watching the clock. The flavor, aroma, warmth, all are lost if our minds are already in the next moment. The art of being present isn't mystical. It's training the mind to dwell here, not in the later. Even the mundane becomes profound. Fear of wasting time is a trap. We chase productivity and goals, but what remains at the end? Half-lived stories because we were never fully in them. Buddhism proposes something radical. Stop measuring time to start truly living it. It's not about doing more, but being more conscious in what we do. Ocean waves don't arrive early or late. They simply arrive. We, however, suffer from delays, deadlines, and crumbling plans. What if, instead of fighting time, we learn to dance with it? Flexibility isn't resignation. It's emotional intelligence. Storms pass faster when we stop yelling at them to calm down. Even wounds heal at their own pace. You can't rush the mending of a broken bone or the grieving of a loss. Forcing inner processes only makes them more painful. Patience Presence isn't passivity, it's the courage to trust that everything has its moment. As a Zen proverb says, there's nothing to do, just do nothing. The clock will keep ticking, but you decide how to live it. You can obsess over the tick-tock or remember that every second is a heartbeat of the universe, perfect in its imperfection. Buddhism doesn't deny time, it invites us to rediscover it, not as a master, but as a traveling companion. Eternity, after all, is made of well-attended moments. Teaching 3. What is yours will not be lost. The river never begs the water to return. It knows the current flows naturally. The same goes for what truly belongs to us. It doesn't need to be forced or held. Buddhism teaches that what aligns with our karma returns on its own, like the seasons. When we let go with trust, we allow life to weave its patterns without our anxious interference. Imagine throwing a boomerang. If done skillfully, it returns effortlessly. But if you chase it, you disrupt its path and never catch it. This is how attachment works. Pursuing what we believe is ours often pushes it away. True belonging isn't based on control, but on a silent connection that transcends time and distance. Seeds planted in fertile soil sprout when ready, not when we dig them up to check. Similarly, relationships, opportunities, or lessons meant for us ripen at the right moment. Obsessing over when or how is like trampling flowers trying to grow. Active patience, waiting with attention but without anguish, is key. A bird doesn't carry its nest when flying. It trusts there will always be branches to rest on. We, however, carry the fear of losing what we love. But Buddhism reminds us, what is essential never truly leaves, it only transforms. If something leaves your life and doesn't return, it was a bridge, not a home. What is yours doesn't need chains. There's a difference between abandoning and letting go. Abandoning is giving up out of fear. Letting go is releasing with faith. A boat tied to the shore never discovers the ocean, even if the sea is its destiny. When we free what no longer serves us or was never truly ours, we create space for what karma has prepared. Life doesn't reward those who struggle. It rewards those who trust. Clouds don't choose where to rain, yet the earth receives exactly what it needs. This is how karma works. Invisible yet precise. It's not about blind destiny, but understanding that our actions and energies attract what corresponds to them. If something resists repeatedly, perhaps the universe is saying something better is coming. Internal listening is our compass. Attachment, disguised as love, is common. We think holding tight shows how much we care, when in truth it reveals our fear of lack. Buddhism proposes love without confiscation, like the sun that shines without asking for anything in return. People, experiences, and even objects that resonate with us don't need to be trapped. Their presence is natural and effortless. A common mistake is confusing desire with need. Desire screams, "I must have this now." Need whispers, "I'll receive what my path requires." What nourishes your spiritual growth will never be lacking, even if it doesn't arrive in the form you expected. The story of bamboo is enlightening. For years, it shows no visible growth. Underground, then in weeks it shoots up meters high. The fruits of karma work silently until blooming at the right moment. Impatience makes us dig for results, ruining the process. Trust means understanding that what's yours is already on its way, even if your eyes can't see it yet. In the end, the great paradox is this: the less you chase, the more you receive. Not by magic, but because by releasing the illusion of control, you align with the natural flow of existence. Buddhism doesn't promise everything will be easy, only that nothing essential will be lost. Like an echo in the mountains, what you emanate, love, honesty, genuine effort, returns when least expected but most needed. Teaching 4. The present is the only real moment. Yesterday is already a dream. Tomorrow is just a projection. The only tangible reality is now. The air in your lungs, the weight of your body on the chair, the sounds around you. Buddhism teaches that anchoring in the present isn't a philosophical exercise. It's the door to living fully. Every time the mind travels to the future with anxiety, we lose touch with what's real. Animals live this way. A cat doesn't fret about tomorrow's dinner. A bird doesn't dwell on past mistakes. They exist in an eternal, now responding to what life presents. We, with our ability to think in time, have turned this gift into a burden. Recovering natural presence isn't regression. It's evolving toward wiser awareness. The present isn't a tiny point between past and future. It's a vast space holding all possibilities. When you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. Simple yet revolutionary. This deactivates autopilot mode, which keeps us half asleep. Mindfulness doesn't empty the mind, it fills it with what's truly happening, not mental fantasies. Anxiety about the future is often a failed attempt to control the uncontrollable. We imagine countless scenarios, but life always surprises us with options we never considered. Buddhism proposes a radical shift. Prepare responsibly, but release obsession over outcomes. True power lies in how we respond to what arises, not in trying to dictate every variable. An hourglass teaches a profound truth. Even when all sand is at the top, only one grain falls at a time. Our lives are the same. Though we may have 1,000 worries, we can only act in this grain of time. Trying to solve everything at once is like trying to hold the ocean in your hands. Peace comes when we attend to the immediate without the weight of what doesn't yet exist. Daily tasks, washing a dish, folding clothes, watering plants, become spiritual practices when done with full attention. They're not obstacles to more important moments, but life itself expressing itself. Buddhism reminds us, don't wait for special circumstances to be happy. The miracle lies in finding the extraordinary in the ordinary. Now, the body is always present. It's the mind that wanders. Noticing physical sensations, feet on the ground, heartbeat, ambient temperature, anchors us back. This simple but powerful practice cuts the threads of future anxiety. It's not about denying planning, but not letting it steal the richness of the current moment. Children are spontaneous masters of presence. When they play, they're only playing. When they cry, they're only crying. Adults divide their experience. Even in joyful moments they think, this will end. Recovering that unity with immediate experience is returning to our natural state before mental time complicated everything. Breath is the perfect bridge to the present. It always happens now, never in past or future. Observing it without modifying, it teaches us to witness life rather than fight it. 5 conscious breaths a day can change more than hours of mental rumination. This is the heart of Buddhist meditation, simplifying to deepen. The present isn't a place to arrive, it's where we remain. It doesn't require solving all problems first or achieving enlightenment. It's available this very second, for everyone. As a Zen proverb says, when hungry, eat. When tired, sleep. The fullest life is made of completely lived moments, not grand gestures. Teaching 5. Patience is a profound virtue. Nature is never in a hurry. The oak doesn't struggle to grow faster. The butterfly doesn't break its cocoon prematurely. We, however, live as if the clock were our enemy. Buddhism teaches that true patience isn't passive waiting. It's trusting life's hidden rhythms. Every seed knows exactly when to sprout. Our hearts contain that same ancestral wisdom. Imagine a potter shaping clay. If removed from the kiln too soon, it cracks. If left too long, it burns. Our dreams and personal processes follow the same law. Patience requires both sensitivity and courage. It asks us to release artificial timelines imposed by society. The modern mind confuses speed with efficiency, haste with quality. But truly valuable things, love, mastery, deep understanding, can't be rushed without losing their essence. Hasty wine is just fermented juice. Greatness requires barrels and time. When we cultivate patience, we stop living superficially and access the depths of human experience. Coral reefs build particle by particle over centuries. Our inner transformations weave similarly. Impatience comes from wanting results before completing the process. Buddhism invites us to change the question. Instead of when will it come, ask what can I learn while waiting. This turns waiting into a teacher. There's a crucial difference. Waiting with anguish is a mental prison. Waiting with presence is fertile ground. When we stop wasting energy counting days, we discover the path already contains what we long to find at the end. An impatient traveler only sees the destination. The patient one enjoys each step. The body teaches patience. A physical wound heals in its own time regardless of our wishes. Emotions and circumstances follow the same principle. Forcing grief, reconciliation, or learning is like picking at scabs. It seems to speed things up, but actually delays healing and leaves deeper scars. Technology has accustomed us to instant gratification, but life operates with organic wisdom. Pregnancy lasts 9 months. Seasons turn at their own pace. Buddhism doesn't reject progress, but reminds us that certain universal laws remain. Everything genuine needs time to take its perfect form. Practicing patience is like learning to sail. You can't control the wind, but you can adjust the sails. Obstacles become part of the journey. Great rivers don't argue with bends. They flow around them, creating beautiful landscapes. Our lives contain unexpected curves, traffic jams, and detours. Buddhist patience doesn't mean inaction. It's discerning when to move and when to let waters find their natural course. This balance between effort and surrender is the essence of practical wisdom. Ultimately, patience is a form of love for ourselves, others, and existence's mystery. Like a gardener watering soil without demanding to see roots grow, we trust the invisible. In a world obsessed with instant results, choosing patience is revolutionary. Not a virtue of the weak, but of those strong enough to embrace life's sacred rhythm. Teaching 6. The universe operates on cause and effect. Every thought, word, and action is a seed thrown into the universe's vast field. Some sprout in days, others take years, but none are lost. Buddhism teaches that this law isn't punishment or reward, but a perfect mirror reflecting what we've projected. Understanding this makes us conscious gardeners of our destiny. Imagine an echo in the mountains. Shout hate, and the mountain returns it. Whisper love, and you receive melody. This is how karma works, not as a stern judge, but as a natural feedback system. Consequences aren't always immediate or literal, but they're infallible. A kindness today may become unexpected help tomorrow, just as indifference sown grows into loneliness. Farmers know they can't plant wheat and harvest mangoes, yet in daily life, we often forget this basic logic. We want happiness while watering resentment, seek prosperity while sowing stinginess. Buddhism speaks not of fixed fate, but of constant creation. Each moment is new fertile ground where we choose what seeds to plant. Some actions bear quick fruit, insulting someone and receiving immediate anger. Other karmic seeds are like sequoias. Their growth is nearly imperceptible until one day they tower over us. Impatience makes us doubt cosmic law, but the wise gardener understands different plants need different times. Consistency in goodness has unstoppable cumulative power. Karma isn't linear like math. It's complex like an ecosystem. The same action may yield different fruits depending on where it lands. A kind word touches a child differently than an elder. Buddhism emphasizes intention, the invisible seed determining the fruit's quality. It's not about calculating results, but purifying motivations in every choice. Many misunderstand karma as fatalism, when it's actually the opposite, supreme responsibility. If your past sowed the present, your now is creating the future. This liberates us from victimhood and empowers us as creators. Even the oldest seed can be balanced with new, conscious plantings. Change is always possible because each breath is a fresh start. External conditions, family, culture, circumstances are like weather for our karmic seeds. They influence but don't determine. Two identical seeds may grow differently depending on soil, just as the same action has varied impacts by context. Buddhism invites focusing on what we can control, what we choose to plant here and now regardless of others' plantings. Sometimes we harvest fruits from seeds we don't remember planting. Life presents situations that seem unfair until we grasp their connection to past actions, in this life or others, per some traditions. These moments aren't for self-blame, but awakening. This is the harvest of that choice. What will I plant now to change the future? The most powerful karma is often the subtlest. Repeated thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become character, and character becomes destiny. Like a river carving stone through constant flow, our small daily choices sculpt reality. Watching thought quality is the highest karmic gardening. Ultimately, understanding karma isn't for judging our past, but creating a wiser future. As cosmic farmers, we receive exactly what we've planted, no more, no less. This certainty brings deep peace. The universe is just, even if our vision is limited. Each morning gifts new seeds, moments of choice to cultivate the garden we long to inhabit. Teaching 7. Resisting the flow creates pain. The river doesn't argue with rocks. It flows around them, caresses them, and moves on. We, however, often crash against reality, wanting it to be different. Buddhism reminds us, suffering comes not from circumstances, but from resisting them. When we stop swimming against the current, we discover the universe holds us gently. Imagine holding a ball underwater. The more you struggle, the more it escapes. This is life. The harder we fight the uncontrollable, the more exhausted we become. Acceptance isn't passivity. It's the wise decision to release our battle against what already exists. In that surrender, we find a strength greater than resistance. Peace in harmony with the present moment. Trees show this wisdom. In strong winds, flexible branches bend, rigid ones snap. Our souls learn similarly. Resilience is born from yielding without losing essence. Buddhism doesn't teach weakness, but wise energy allocation, choosing where to place our efforts. Sometimes the bravest act isn't fighting, but letting go. The mind labels things good or bad, but life simply is. Rain that ruins a picnic is the same nourishing crops. When we stop judging each experience, we find even difficulties have purpose. Radical acceptance is the antidote to chronic complaining, a mental habit poisoning our own hearts. Many confuse acceptance with resignation, but they're opposites. The conformist says, "This will never change." The acceptor says, "This is what's here now. From this truth I can act clearly." Buddhism proposes a middle way, seeing things as they are while knowing everything changes, especially when we stop resisting change. The body teaches this. Relaxing at the dentist hurts less. Tensing during a fall worsens injury. Existence works. Similarly, pain is sometimes inevitable, but suffering is optional, depending on our resistance. Learning to distinguish between the two is one of life's greatest gifts. Emotions are like waves. If we push them, we drown. If we immerse in them, we're swept away. But if we observe from shore, we see them rise, crest, and finally dissolve. Buddhist acceptance isn't suppressing feelings, but giving them space to complete their natural cycle without getting stuck. Life is a dance. When we follow the rhythm, all flows. When we insist on our own steps, we stumble. To accept is to hear cosmic music and move with it, not against it. This doesn't mean lacking direction. It's balancing intention and surrender. The best dancers know when to lead and when to follow. Resistance often comes from fear of the unknown, losing control or pain. But Buddhism reveals a paradoxical secret. Fully accepting our fears robs them of power. What we resist persists. What we accept transforms. Ultimately, flowing isn't abandoning power. It's wielding it most wisely by choosing our battles, embracing the inevitable, and finding peace amid chaos. The universe isn't our enemy. Sometimes it's our sparring partner. When we stop pounding on closed doors, we discover windows have been open all along. Teaching 8. Trust dissolves anxiety. Fog doesn't erase the path. It only hides what lies beyond the next curve. This is true trust, moving forward without needing to see the whole journey. Buddhism teaches that faith isn't blind certainty, but the courage to take a step when only the ground beneath is visible. Each moment holds both the known and the mysterious. Both are necessary for the journey. Imagine teaching a child to ride a bike. If they stare at obstacles, they fall. If they trust their balance, they find stability. Our mental anxiety works the same. The more we focus on what-ifs, the more we wobble. Buddhist practice doesn't offer a detailed map, but inner strength to walk unknown paths with serenity. Migratory. Birds don't doubt. They follow an inner call guiding them across continents. We too have this inner compass, though we often drown it in overthinking. Trust doesn't ignore dangers. It remembers we have inner resources to meet them when they come. Anxiety is anticipating storms that may never arrive while missing the beauty of the current flight. Life builds bridges just ahead, but they only appear when we take the first step. This is trust's paradox. The more we practice it, the more reasons we find to maintain it. Buddhism compares this to rowing on a river. We don't control the current, but we can choose not to anchor ourselves ashore from fear of the unknown downstream. Many wait for all uncertainty to vanish before living fully, but that never happens. Authentic trust blooms precisely in uncertainty, like flowers cracking through rocks. It's not fear's absence, but the decision to move forward despite it. Each trust-filled step strengthens our capacity for the next. A farmer sows with ancestral trust that the earth will respond, even if growth is unseen. We sow actions, words, and intentions with that same faith in universal laws. Anxiety is like digging up seeds to check if they've sprouted. We interrupt nature's work already favoring us. The control-addicted mind is a sailboat with furled sails, fearing shifting. Wind's trust unfurls those sails, using every breeze, gentle or strong, to advance. It's not passivity, but wise participation with life's current. Setbacks become winds, teaching us to navigate better, not enemies. Trees don't calculate if next year will bring enough rain. They simply grow toward the light, season after season. This organic trust is our natural state before overcomplication. Returning to it doesn't require adding anything, but removing layers of accumulated doubt. Buddhist meditation is a path to remembering this primordial simplicity. Trust strengthens like a muscle, starting with small acts of surrender, letting sleep come without resistance, trying a new route to work, staying silent when the urge to be right arises. These micro-acts build a new relationship with the unpredictable. Soon we discover that what we called risk was actually life, at its most vibrant. Ultimately, crossing the foggy bridge proves the only true path. Each step dissolves mist slightly, revealing not a fixed destination, but our own capacity to walk gracefully between known and unknown. Buddhism doesn't eliminate fog, but teaches us to love it as part of our soul's sacred landscape. Teaching 9. The silence of waiting is also growth. Japanese bamboo spends 5 years underground, no visible sprouts, while developing a vast root system. Then, in 6 weeks, it grows over 30 meters. This is invisible growth. What we call waiting is often the most transformative stage. Buddhism invites honoring these gestation periods where the soul works silently. The best teas need steeping time to release their essence. So do we. Modern impatience has made us believe only the visible, immediate, and quantifiable counts. But the deepest transformations occur like starlight, reaching us long after its creation. An artist knows pauses between brushstrokes let colors settle. Our lives follow the same creative rhythm. Those intervals we call wasted time are actually the canvas where experiences blend into new understanding. Buddhism values these in-between spaces as much as obvious action. Winter earth seems dead, but underground it gathers nutrients for spring. Our spiritual growth works similarly, seasons to bloom and seasons to compost the lived. Resisting these cycles is like scolding a tree for not fruiting in January. True patience isn't counting days, but embracing each phase as necessary and sacred. Musicians understand silence between notes. It gives melody meaning. Our waiting periods are those silences structuring life's song. Without them, existence would be chaotic noise. Buddhism teaches listening to these intervals attentively, for in them we discover our heart's authentic rhythms. A boat in calm waters isn't stuck. It moves with unseen deep currents. Our apparent life pauses are like this, subtle movements preparing greater shifts. Feeling these inner currents turns waiting from passive to conscious participation with hidden transformative processes. Chrysalises teach an essential truth. What seems stillness is actually radical metamorphosis. Within that seemingly quiet cocoon, every cell reorganizes for something completely new. Our transition periods are soul factories, where the old disintegrates so the unimagined can emerge. Buddhism compares the waiting mind to a glass of muddy water. When we stop shaking it, sediments settle, and clarity emerges naturally. These times of seeming inaction are opportunities for inner wisdom to decant, away from the noise of obsessions and plans. The essential always arises when our constant interference ceases. Great rivers have calm stretches where waters seem to pause. These are vital ecosystems where life regenerates. Our lives also need these backwaters, times seeming like stagnation, but actually spaces of necessary regeneration. Honoring them is understanding sacred growth rhythm. Ultimately, we discover waiting was never emptiness, but fullness in gestation. Like seeds holding entire forests in their tiny hearts, we carry within all we need to become. Buddhism doesn't ask us to rush this, but to read the subtle signs that transformation is already happening, even if our eyes can't yet see it. Teaching 10. Awakening comes when we're ready. Dawn doesn't happen because roosters crow, but because the earth turns toward light. So too with spiritual awakening. It's not caused by our demands, but by inner ripening. Buddhism compares this to a lotus rising from mud when ready. Enlightenment isn't a trophy to conquer, but a grace received upon preparedness. An oven doesn't hasten bread's rise. Heat must work silently until dough is ready to become food. Our spiritual practices are that loving heat preparing consciousness, but the leap's exact timing eludes our control. Forcing understanding is like unopening a cocoon. What emerges isn't a butterfly, but an incomplete being that can never fly. Children learn to walk by an invisible inner rhythm, first crawling, then standing, falling 100 times until one day they run without thought. Awakening follows this organic wisdom. We can create conditions, meditating, studying, reflecting, but the final click comes like a child's first step, when body, mind, and spirit perfectly align. Buddhism speaks of the path as a river naturally carrying us to the ocean. Our effort is to row consciously, but the current has its own pace. Those trying to hurry exhaust themselves. Those who trust discover every bend had purpose in their preparation. Enlightenment isn't a distant destination, but recognizing what's always been here. Seeds know exactly when to break their shells, not a day sooner, without enough nutrients, nor later, when conditions are no longer right. Our awareness follows. The same principle. Buddhist teachings are water softening the shell, but the seed, our essential being, decides the exact moment of opening to wisdom's sun. Our good teacher doesn't force students to understand, but presents the lesson repeatedly until comprehension arises. The universe does the same, repeating necessary lessons through experiences, encounters, and challenges until we're ready to grasp their deeper meaning. Awakening happens when we finally attend to what's always been shown. Human clocks measure hours, but the soul has its own timer, what we call delay. In spiritual growth is often necessary gestation, like wine improving with years in barrels. Our understanding needs fermenting until maturity lets us see beyond immediate appearances. Buddhism compares the unawakened mind to a dusty mirror. No matter how we scrub, total clarity comes when it comes. We can practice removing layers of dust, our illusions, but the final shine appears on its own. This paradox is key. We do the work without clinging to results, knowing essential light is already present beneath the dust. Waves don't decide when to break ashore, they obey greater guiding forces. Our awakening follows this cosmic flow. Spiritual practices don't produce enlightenment, but align us with it like a surfer learning to ride the perfect wave that's always been there, waiting to reveal itself. Ultimately, we discover awakening wasn't something to attain, but to remember, like waking from a dream to realize we were always home. The Buddhist path leads back to what was never lost. Preparation wasn't to gain something new, but to remove the unnecessary, until only inherent luminosity remains. A master gardener knows not to pull plant stalks to grow faster. They water, fertilize, and protect. But intimate growth belongs to the seed. So too with awakening, we practice mindfulness, cultivate compassion, and study teachings, but final realization blossoms from within at its exact hour. Buddhism reminds us, truth isn't imposed. It's revealed like fruit falling only when sweet and ripe. Spiritual understanding arises in its perfect timing. Before that, no matter how we try, we'll only taste bitterness. This waiting isn't passive. It's the invisible work of inner sap slowly transforming perception until we can taste reality directly unfiltered. Hourglasses teach a profound lesson. No matter how much we watch, sand flow won't speed up. Yet each grain fulfills its purpose. Our spiritual practices are like those grains, seemingly small but silently accumulating toward a critical transformation point we can't predict, only witness. Japanese bamboo holds another lesson. After years of no visible growth, it shoots up 25 meters in weeks. Awakening works similarly. What seemed wasted time was actually necessary gestation. Buddhism asks faith in these underground processes where our greatest transformations weave. A painter can't rush oil drying between layers. If they do, the work is ruined. Our layers of understanding follow the same law. Each needs full integration before the next teaching can be applied. Spiritual impatience only produces a distorted image of truth. Butterflies teach the elegance of divine timing. Helping them break the cocoon leaves wings too weak for flight. Struggles are necessary to strengthen what's coming. Buddhism sees periods of doubt and darkness as sacred cocoons, spaces fortifying consciousness for its flight. A baker knows dough must rise exactly. Too soon bread is dense. Too late it's overproofed. Our awareness also has this optimal point, impossible to determine intellectually but recognizable when arrived. Buddhist practices are the oven creating conditions, but transformation follows its own inner clock. Fruit. Trees don't produce off-season, no matter how we wish it. Similarly, deep understanding arrives in its appropriate season. The Dharma, like seasons, offers teachings cyclically. Knowing each pass leaves us slightly more prepared to receive them deeper. Fine wine can't be rushed. The best barrels bear the inscription, "Let me rest," as a sacred command. Our spiritual practice requires this same venerable patience. What seems slowness is actually the deep work of maturation, where truth's subtlest flavors fully develop. Ultimately, we realize awakening wasn't something to get, but something we already were, covered by layers of forgetting. Like the sun always shining behind clouds, our Buddha nature waits patiently for conditions to reveal itself fully. Preparation doesn't create light, only removes what obscured it. Did these Buddhist teachings resonate with you? If so, show your support by hitting the like button. It helps others discover this wisdom too. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss our mindful content. Your presence here matters. Thank you for being part of this journey. Until next time, may you flow with life's rhythm. Stay peaceful.